Okay. Let's see if we are live. I believe so. Yes. Perfect. Okay. While I wait for viewers, let's walk through a few things then. So, let's start with finding a way to make the position. Yeah, I am alive now. Okay, let's start with finding a way to make the position, right? Okay. So the idea is here, starting from nothing. What I like to do, if I'm going to walk through how I made this position, is I'm going to follow the repressed model, and I'm going to find where we are and where we're going to be if we remain suppressed, if we're already suppressed. What's up? I don't know, Samaran, what is up? We are, yeah, I think we're just going to walk through how I made the position I took up in a simple way, and then what factors I looked at when making it, okay? All right. So, we start with the suppressed price, okay? I follow the suppressed price for the model when setting up what I'm doing in the future, typically speaking, and when I'm picking up a bullish position, I follow the suppressed price. With the suppressed price, if we go into it, it is heavily made up of the max pains. If I find the repressed, always repressed, yes, it is averaging J, which is the ETF model, D, which is the 2 times cash floor, G, which if we go into G is just a D, which is the cash floor again. So it's double the it's averaging twice as much the cash floor, and then 3 times max pain, and then half of the echo model, okay? And so the idea is the echo model is failures to deliver, stacking up over time, and there is a effect on the stock price of failures to deliver coming in over time here, right? Even when we're repressed. And so my opinion is that even if we don't see an event where we exit suppression, or we go into one of these big rallies that we tend to see after the red swap, and this was the red swap that we saw, it's just it happened a month later. I called it the purple swap because I needed a distinction. I'll show that in the trading view. I believe in you, trading view. Okay. Yeah, so the red swap didn't happen here, just like it didn't happen here, and there was a swap here instead. There's a swap here instead. And so, typically speaking, we do exit suppression after this. There is a time period in which we exit suppression over the past few times where we ended the red swap. We did end up exiting suppression. Last time it was 30. The time before last it was 30. Last time it went all the way to 34. But we can't trade assuming that we'll call the exact day. It's going to go above 30 or 230 even. And so, my position is set up to take advantage and to still be profitable if we only go up to the suppressed price, which is, in this model right now, 27. And so I am well in the money at 27, and when I set up the sheet, I made sure I was well in the money at 27. Okay. Okay. So that is the setup for that. Now, for the calling of the exact swap date, insofar as I could tell, I called out that there were like 3 or 4 possible dates for swap date. One was the 17th. I would love if it would like actually show my cursor. Here we go. One was the 17th, which was here, which is when the ETF model started to go under the cash per share. One was the 22nd when we had a bottom here. And then one of them is the 27th if this upwards ETF pressure turned out to actually be an inverse effect. And you can see sometimes our ETF pressure is inverted. This has happened in the past. And so I had a few days in mind in which this could happen, right? Yeah, the 17th when we went under, the 22nd when we had a most negative, and then the 27th could have been one, and then the 28th even could have been one. And we don't know what's going to happen on the 27th and 28th. I really don't. All I know is that there is volatility occurring, and the volatility shows up on the ETF model. If I am looking for what direction we're going to go in with the ETF model, I like to use the swapinator actually that Ultimator makes right here, and I will look and compare the price activity that happened based off of the ETF model and look at the direction that that price is sending us in. The Swapinator does a pretty good job of telling me whether ETF expansion and creation and redemption is sending us in the right direction or not. Okay, now let me read some comments. Now that I've started with some concepts of what I'm doing to pick up the trade and do the trade physically, and honestly, I'm just here to be open to answering questions and to show care. Okay. Cool. Draked in Crystal says, I put some buy limits on order hoping to catch something October 27th. I have no clue what happens on October 27th. From the looks of it, if we look at today, the upwards momentum that we had today actually send us up. So we might end up even higher on the 27th, but the 28th we might crash and burn. Or we could go even higher on the 28th. Yeah. Okay, yes. So we could go even higher or lower. It's just the ETF model tells me about volatility more than anything else. It is very useful for tracking volatility. Now, I will say that I've gone and I've done a manual change to the ETF model, and that's not my typical. And so the manual change I've done to the ETF model is GMEY and IGME increased in order of magnitude recently. I do not want to do that. I want to keep that deleted because that's a useless thing now. Okay, I'm going to drag this up actually, and I'm going to place it here instead. Is that IGME and GMEY increased their size freaking massively. I'm actually going to move this to 625 and then move the 4 down. And I don't have a way of capturing that on this model as it stands. And so if I'm not able to capture it, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this. I'm going to add 4 to it because that sounds about right. Because fact of the matter is the model serves to support my intuition. The model doesn't serve to tell me everything, you know? And so my call out, and whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know, is that this activity, this massive expansion of the options traded ETFs is going to result in upwards movement. And so I placed a 4 times the average amount of movement here because this is legitimately increasing massively. So that is what I placed there. And what it does to us is it moves it so that the A model for the ETF goes up to 28. And 28 is about what the full model says. And so that is in suppressed mode, what the full model says. And so I expect it might actually prove to be pretty accurate. Might. And so I'll keep it there. But a lot of this is touch and feel, and a lot of this is what I think will happen and then finding out later. And so I like to keep a list of my expectations and my notes and my feelings and then come back to that on a regular basis. Okay. Let me make sure I actually answered the question. Okay, the question was whether anything would get caught on the 27th, and my answer is you got volatility. I don't know where it's going. I've already seen a swap. I'm not going to exit my position until the actual thesis of the 5th comes true. The volatility I've projected on the 5th through both separate models and another model, which I can talk about later, have all come true. So I expect volatility upwards. I have no intention of exiting this in response to a little volatility. Okay, do you think the cat will say something on between now and November 13th? Rad TDD. Very specifically, I have no fucking clue what Roaring Kitty's doing. It's that. I have no clue. I'm not supposed to know. It's not my job to know what he's doing or why he's doing it. All I know is that this was the red swap, in my opinion, and now we rally because this is what happens in swap theory. They cover their short, they cover it, and then they refill the ETFs, because usually it's supposed to be 3 swaps and then they refill the ETFs, and that's how it's been as of late. And so I was willing to place money on us having the possibility of exiting suppression. So if they exit suppression, my bet makes a 10x return. If they don't exit suppression and it just follows the echo model, then I make like 2x. And honestly, fantastic, considering the fact that I could lose it all. If I am wrong about either the echo model or I'm wrong about the exiting of suppression, well, if I'm only wrong about the exiting of suppression, then I'm fine. But yeah, I don't know. And honestly, I am gambling, what, $185,000 on us exiting suppression, or at the very minimum of the failures to deliver mounting up enough to take us above, I'm going to say $26.60 a share. Yeah. And here's the failures to deliver adding up. Oh, please, I would prefer if my sheet were to work every now and then. Here we go. And here's the failures to deliver adding up. They come up at their peak on around the 11th, but I will point out how the last few times we have not actually peaked when these models peak. We peak some other time typically, so I'm not able to guess exactly. It is common for us to see cat ears though. Cat ears are a thing. Okay, let's see. Can I go through where and what I update on the sheet? That's a great question, Zen Focus. Let me go through what I do every freaking day. And so all I'm doing, and anyone can make a copy of the sheet if they'd like, all I'm doing is I'm going in, I am updating for the days, open price, close price, and watch, GME, Yahoo Finance, because it is all here. GME, open, so close, open, high, low, 23.3, 23.45, 23 point, 1 second, 1024, yes, close was 23.3, close was 20, oh, I know, because I put in a placeholder there, 23.45 to 23.3, and then high is 23.6, low is 23.2, high is 23.6, low is 23.22, perfect. And next, I go into the ECF model, and in the ECF model, we have a list of ETFs, and these are all updated on the site that I use for the previous day's value by the time the trading day starts for the next day. And so sometime during the trading day, I will go in, I use Market Chameleon myself because they have a very useful ETF profile, and I will just grab the shares outstanding for each of these and place it in the column. I could script it out in a second, but I actually do cherish the time that I spend going through and manually updating this and seeing what's going on and thinking I can comprehend what's going on a certain level. Okay, that is all I do on a regular basis. Then every 2 weeks, I will go in and I will update the failures to deliver when they come out. The next release date for failures to deliver, which moves around the model massively, mind you, is on 10/31. And so if I look up GME FTD, I can get the failures to deliver on GameStop, and it has a table. And that table, they have the release history. They expect in 7 days on 10/31 to see more FTDs. You can tell they come in late or early at times, but they're expecting one in 7 days, and my model will update drastically when that happens. I think that's the big stuff that I do. Everything else is playing around with numbers, is like trying to figure out what I think's going on, is placing max pain values. And honestly, Richard Newton used to use max pain in this column, but as of late, I've been using the call walls because our capability to overcome call walls is really what's being expressed by this column, more than anything else, because the call walls represent actual force preventing us from doing something. Okay, I hope that answers your question. Now, let's see. Rocket Options says, can you walk us through what you do to update and where you can get all the data inputs for this sheet so that we can individually upkeep in case you ever go dark? And I think I've just done that, guys. I will say that this one over here is not updatable, and I'm not going to update it. It is just a neural network that I had put together with a friend, and I have no intention of updating it. Because I don't have any proof whether or not it's worthy, accurate, or correct. And so it's just there for me to figure out whether or not I actually did my work right there later. Okay. Draped in Crystal says, it doesn't matter when I'll buy under 23 when it feels good. I mean, yeah, it's you doing the trades. It's your money. Respect yourself enough to decide when you're going to buy, when you're going to sell, and when you're going to trade. Don't follow me blindly, because then, I mean, if you'd follow anyone blindly, you'd follow anyone blindly. It's just really, really bad, in my opinion, to not be making your own decisions in these things. That's how you get twittered. You don't want to get scammed. This is a batshit crazy amount of risk. The odds are hilariously low for this working out, and yet when I look at my model, I have complete faith in myself and in it working out. And if it works out, it works out, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Let's take a look. Let's find out. That's the standpoint I've had on this, and I didn't expect to be talking to 100 people, but that's fine. Okay. Good catch on iGME, GMEY. Okay, wait. Yeah, ZenFocus says good catch on iGME and GMEY. And let's look at iGME and GMEY, because this has been really interesting. iGME and GMEY, GMEY, every day for literally a month, I would pull this up, open it, and see that we're still at 25,000. To the extent to where I deleted it from my fucking sheet, and now it's suddenly, all at once, it's, what's this? Equals this divided by this. Suddenly, it increases 25x in size. If that's not creation and redemption, I don't know what is, but fuck it. Hey, actually, let's see what happens if I put 10 out of 10 here, right? Let's see what happens. Rutro. Okay, a lot happens, okay? We go up to 30. That might bode silly. That might be silly. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut about that, because I don't want people to think we're gonna go to 30. There are two things that would make us go to 30, in my opinion, and one is creation and redemption needing to be refilling on the ETFs, and we would see green here, a lot of it, and that might be it, but I don't know, because that's something I've never seen before. And the other thing is the market maker wanting their fucking warrants in the money. And, well, they may actually want them in the money, they may not. I don't have a way of easily telling. What I can tell you is that I saw a rather large, that's GameStop directly. I would prefer to see the warrants. I can tell you I saw a large VWAP today. Is this it? Here we go. Yes, I saw a large freaking VWAP today on the warrants. And if this keeps up happening every day or every other day and every now and then I full well expect that somebody's hedging in order to acquire warrants. I don't know what they'd be acquiring warrants for, but they would be acquiring warrants. Okay, cool. Who's next? I would prefer to do live chat instead of top chat, actually, YouTube. Okay. GME Diamond Hilder says, I'm still holding October 31st, 27th, praying to see a run. Well, man, we'll find out, And statistically speaking, almost everyone here is male, because that's how YouTube works sometimes. But yeah, we'll really find out. I don't know. I don't think I'm supposed to know, honestly. I do think eventually we will enter ETF fulfillment periods, because it always happens eventually. I think Richard Newton used to have something known as the Dorito of Doom, but here, I'll draw the Dorito of Doom just so everyone understands what the theory is. You take a line, you go to the very peak here, and then you draw it all the way down, such that you're touching the peaks. This type of thing, And then you understand that this is how we model suppression, give or take. And hey, we might be here. We might be here. It's not something I'm supposed to know, But let's keep it there for now. And let's say that anytime we touch this yellow line, we'll call that the Dorito of Doom. And typically when we touch the yellow line, we dilute. It doesn't matter if we wait a few days then dilute, but we typically dilute when we touch our top band. That's how corporate works here. Right here, we diluted at 30. I expect when we hit 30 or 32, we'll do something to dilute. Usually something to bring down the stock price that gives GameStop some leverage. But as of late, in comprehension of dilution, we have not been. So let's put it this way: when we did an at the money offering, you'll see how when we did an at the money offering, we blew up our FTDs and they stopped happening. the echo model for the FTDs went bye-bye when we had a at the money offering here. Oh wait, this is bonds. This is bonds. This is bonds. When were GMEs at the money offerings? September and June and May of 2024. Thank you, internet, because oh my gosh, am I a little dumb. August, September, and it has this. The red line is sum cleared. I do not know. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. Like, I see this. I'm honest that I see it, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm supposed to know though. Okay. I'm under the impression that an at the money offering clears out failures to deliver and like punches the echo model in the teeth, but I cannot say as much without spending more time on it, so I don't want to give an answer there actually. Okay. Natalie, can you please talk about how you manage risk on your positions? Stop loss, you mentioned limit orders in the last video, but not sure if it was in reference to risk management or exit. Thanks. So let's talk about that, right? This position is very specific, okay? With this position, I am either going to completely blow myself up, or it's going to double, or something much larger than that, okay? And so risk management would consist of getting out when my thesis comes true, getting the fuck out. That is what I'm doing. Now, I could also take another look at it, and I could say, hey, what happens if I start, let's say, there are ways and options to manage your risk. I could set a cap for anything above a certain point to not make me money, and I could sell covered calls such that if the stock price goes above 32, I don't make money, but I take premium right now. And that would manage risk from a hedging standpoint, but fact of the matter is I have no intention of lowering my risk of being wrong, because I've been doing this exact trade style for about a year, and I'm okay with this amount of risk for myself. My only risk that I have is missing the boat and not exiting my damn position by the 14th. Okay. Joshua Deckard says, last time we saw this on the Swapinator, it ran for 31 days. Think we'll see a run for 31 days until top again. My personal opinion is that November 17th, give or take. Actually, November 17th, give or take, we're gone. The run's over. It might end on the 14th. It might end on the 13th. But this run, we're gonna, if we actually exit suppression and hit like 32 a share, we're gonna leave 32 a share in a quick and timely manner. Because GameStop corporate does not like us to sit around in that sort of area. And that's good, by the way. I think there's a lot of fighting over whether or not that's good, but yes, every time GameStop is the one to send us down instead of the market maker or sending us down, it is good for the company in the long run, and I cannot hold that against the company. Okay. What's next? GP Cookie Monster said, did all of the FTDs due to the bonds in June throw off the model at all? Let's look. Because fact of the matter is, we can go into the Echo model and we can look at June of this year. Oh, you're talking about the dilution event. Right, are we? So you will see that the dilution event, we did have clearing of FTDs and quite a bit of it, and the Echo model got like kicked down quite a bit, and also we re-entered suppression right afterwards. And so did it ruin, what was the exact phrasing? What was the exact phrasing? Did all the FTDs due to the bonds in June throw off the model? I'm actually going to say no. We're pretty accurate here. Look at June. Look at July. Look at August. I mean, there's a divergence in August where the model thinks we're going to go up and then there's no upwards movement, but this is still pretty much within my like range of what I think should be happening. Yeah. Bloom Bear says, could you explain the idea of de-risking you mentioned in the last stream? Yeah, let's put it that way. So I have limit orders in which I would be willing to exit the entire position based off of each day of trading, and then I have events that I think would make me change how I approach this trade fundamentally, set up ahead of time. Shit's gonna happen one way or another. Eventually shit happens, and you're gonna be taken by surprise when shit happens. And so eventually there's going to be something that shoots the stock down during a time in which I have a call option. Having how I'm going to respond to everything set up ahead of time and processed ahead of time means I react fucking fast. And so I typically have how I'm going to exit my positions set up ahead of time. And while something current events may happen that cause me to move before I say I'm going to move, and I might trade some based off emotion and de-risk and like get the fuck out if I don't like something. That's completely normal. That's how traders work. I don't have a reason to get out right now, and I would have a reason to get out if we start seeing 27 or 28 and I start to worry about volatility maybe, but that's not until my thesis starts, and my thesis says the 5th of November and the 10th of November, and so it's not time for me to de-risk. This is exactly why I picked up this position, and I'm waiting for it to do what I thought I was going to do. Okay, so like my assumptions haven't changed. I haven't been proven right or wrong, and so there's no reason to be scared, and there's no reason to fear the risk that I'm in right now yet. Did RC say no more offerings this year? Ryan Cohen. He might have. I don't think he's somebody who wants to be judged by his words though. He's very specific about judging by his actions. If we end up having an offering, we end up having an offering. An offering is an offering. Yeah, I think something's going to happen that sends us down, whether it's another warrant release, whether it's another bond offering, whether it's a shelf offering. Something's going to happen. GameStop benefits massively from being the guys to send their stock down instead of the market maker. Robert Tagama says, Becky Cat, I'm so grateful that you took on the mantle after RN had to walk away, or Richard Newton. Regardless of what happens to the next 2 weeks, just want you to know that I'm a fan here and to keep up the good work. Man, it has been entirely love. It's been entirely caring. It's been entirely supportive. And I'm grateful for that, you know? Let me know if I can do anything to support you. All right. Andrea O'Meara says, my dude, respectfully, you are using a model that has a creator abandoning it because it was failing more than predicting accurately. Your words, you already lost money in the past doing it. I hope you win. Fuck it, I'll say it. I know this doesn't have all my fucking trades. This doesn't. It's like actually empty. But that's because I was trading in blocks of like 200. Up to August, I was trading this off of stock and stock alone, and I was up like 140% year to date from like January of 2025 to August of 2025 because I was able to just get rid of stock when we did this, acquire stock when we did this, get rid of stock when we did this. I lost about 100K on this fucker, but that was specifically ported in so that people would see that I do lose fucking money sometimes. And I actually didn't make any money off of this because I was waiting for the stock to go down, and I'm completely cool with that. I actually picked up shorts right here because the model said it was the end of the cycle. But anyways, all that to say, I'm completely happy with the actions I've taken so far, and I'm completely happy with the concept that I can just say, I'm so confident that I'm going to see upwards movement here that I'm willing to say all or nothing. It happens or it doesn't. I lose, 180K if I'm wrong, you know? I hope I make money too. Okay, so CDLJ27, and by the way, I see the thumbs up on the waves. CDLJ27 says, do you have any shares positioned, or is it all call options? It's all calls right now. It is all calls. Why would I don't see a reason why I would own shares and calls. If I'm going to trade, I'm going to trade. If I'm going to own an underlying, I'll own an underlying. But the massive DRS post got moved into trading in, when is this? I wanted to show that I got rid of the DRS post. I exited the DRS at 5/12/2025. Let me check that. May 12th. There we go. I exited the DRS then. I'm happy with that decision. I am, deeply. I could re-enter it if I like, but the only problem is that I have a fuck ton of income tax from that I'll have to pay. Okay, what else is there? Gamma, what are you doing here? I'm presuming you guys are talking to each other with that. Zen Focus says you have love the logical and rational approaches. Man, I love you. I love the support. I love the care. This has been an opportunity for me to show care or support. Um, okay. Andrea O'Meara. I see. I see. So November 5th. God. Me saying I was the one who created that probably. The remember the 5th of November. That is a reference to the wood meme. I would love to see this. Oh, I don't see it. Let's try this. Nope. Let's put quotes around it. I'm not going to be able to find it, but there was a meme which was titled just the word wood, which in the corner had a hand flicking a die, not a die, a domino, as shown in V is for Vendetta. And that's all I'll say for now. That's all. Okay. Is it true that you are roaring ducky, deep ducking value? Tell you what. I will wear the duck onesie if this makes money. Okay? I will wear the duck onesie and record in front of however many people show the fuck up if this actually makes money. Okay? Hello, Anthrax. You're my friend I know in real life. You're just being a little shit, though. Guido Suave says, what's your favorite curse word? That is such bait. I'm going to pass on answering that question. Jack Menace says, are we going to the moon finally? I don't know. If we are, I'm making a lot of money. If we aren't, we aren't. I'm going to lose it all. Hi, Varley says, hi, roaring duck. Hi, Varley. Okay. Katie says, I had hoped someone would take over where Richard Newton left off. Welcome to the jungle, roaring ducky. Love your vibe. What shenanigans will they pull to thwart your plans? It's gonna take a lot of shenanigans to thwart my plans because I am a source of shenanigans. Wild and silly shenanigans. Zen Focus says, can you explain the neural network a bit? Zen Focus, I refuse to explain the neural network any bit at all, actually. Because fact of the matter is, I don't want people applying machine learning algorithms and thinking it tells them the future, because really it doesn't. It really, really doesn't. I made it with... No, I'm not even going to say I made it. I'm going to say my friend made it. I'm going to say I steal things. I'm going to own that because I would rather be conservative on whether or not things are correct. I have no faith in that at all, just like how when I first started trading against this model, I had absolutely no fucking faith in it at all. Obsessively Gaming says, glad you're making videos. Love your friendliness. I don't really have a question. Do you work for one of the big onesie corporations? Big onesie is in my DMs. Anyways, jokes aside. Anthrax says, this is not a neural network, lol. You're correct. It is a machine learning algorithm. It is a convolutional neural network with a condensing layer, a convolution layer, an LSTM layer, and a sequential layer. But honestly, I'm not showing the source code, and so nobody can prove me wrong. Haha. By the way, folks, Zen Focus says, by the way, folks, this is not financial advice. Hell no, it isn't. If it were financial advice, I'd be in a lot of trouble if this blew up. More than just me. Rad says, have you ever spoken to Richard Newton? I have briefly. I have. I can't claim to be super close yet. Or I hope I can. That'd be nice. That would be nice. Okay. Diswagus says, taking the torch with honor. Thank you. Well, thank you. I do enjoy kindness. I do think kindness is the first step to actually having constructive feedback and constructive argument. Obsessive Gaming says, GameStop raising at high prices is great for holders. Great, raise that floor, RC. And I'm in total agreement, actually. I think this is great for the long-term well-being of the company. I just don't want to be on the wrong end of it. reason why I have the complete red across the board on the 13th and 14th. I should have gotten the fuck out by then. Ballers Edmonton says, you said you expect GME to hit 27 to 30 by around the 12th due to settlement of FTDs, but in past this change in price has taken 4 weeks or more. You are correct, Ballers. Actually, you are 100% correct. There is a reason why my position makes money even if we never hit that point, because I can't claim to actually have any strong indication of when we're going to enter ETF fulfillment. In the past, they have delayed it as much as they possibly can until they force it all at once. In the past, they have teased it, crashed it, and then done it a second time. I have absolutely no way of knowing when they're doing it and when they're not doing it. And actually, to add on to that, screw it. Let's do a new thing. Because you're right. Let's put this as color purple. No, we've already done purple. Let's do pink. Let's drag it up. And now the model says we're suppressed. And I trade as if we're suppressed. Because fact of the matter is, I still make money if we're suppressed, and I still make money if we never enter ETF fulfillment. And this is what it looks like if we never enter ETF fulfillment. It looks like 27 a share. Bro, I am so happy with 27 a share. Y'all don't understand. This is deep out of the money. This is an out of the money option priced $2 above what the fucking share price was when I picked up the option. Like, it making money at all is hilarious. The concept that it could make money at all is hilarious. So yeah, of course. Like, if we enter ETF fulfillment, I 10x. If we don't, great, we don't. But I still make money if we don't. Bloom Bear says, sorry, with the de-risking, I meant with the swap period from 2024 wherein Kitty came back. There was a graph or something. Oh, okay. There is a variety of trade. I'm going to have to pull up my X account. I would love to see what I posted about that. No, not you. I added my friend when I did this. Ah, jeez. Let's check replies. I have too many replies. Oh, here we are. So, this is not my chart, by the way. I stole this as well. If you bathe through enough data, you're going to find something that says what you want it to say. And so when I say there's a lot more nuance than this shows. The idea behind this is if you take the swap listings for Canada, CFTC, and SEC with the listing in the y-axis, and then you search by event type comp inside of the actual raw data, and then you place the x-axis as the compression. Wait. Yes. And the compression or risk reduction count is in the y-axis. Words are hard. Anyways, this is not my fucking chart. It shows. This is Who Loves Avocados data. He is a fantastic little wizard amongst swap data, and he is able to actually go through, dive into swap data, pull out meaningful insights, and I am not. And so what I've done is I've just posted the fucking chart and said, hey, this is the only thing I have ever found which could possibly predict a short squeeze with a reasonable degree of accuracy. And it is very specifically event type comp on swaps with risk reduction. That's it. There's a string of risk reduction swaps that you can find inside of the swap data from Canada, CFTC, and SEC. That's it. That starts happening, we short squeeze. That happens a little longer, it stops happening. It hasn't happened since. And so if I start seeing that happening, I'm going to start being like, well, maybe we're going to go up more than I anticipated. But fact of the matter is, I don't know. And I don't think I'm going to know. I don't think I'm going to know if we squeeze before you squeeze at any point. Okay. Let me put that away. Let's go back here. Okay. Liberate TDN says the raises were also a delay tactic. If we dilute again, which I doubt, it'll be the last time. I think we'll see an announcement this time around. Liberate, I don't know. I don't control the announcements, and I don't control GameStop corporate, and I kind of like it that way. Devlin Mew says, much love from Canada and Quebec here. I'm also following your DGen play, but at a smaller scale. I appreciate your work, and I'll see you on the moon. Well, I mean, I didn't tell you what to do. Obsessively Gaming says, let's say you 10x and head for the hills. Will you hold some GME long term? I've been setting up my next trade. I think if I see, let's say I 10x and head for the hills, right? I would exit this call position. Let's say this happens, right? This row would get deleted, and I'm just doing this for now. This row would get deleted. Let's say all of this is still accurate, and this becomes black. This becomes white. It then becomes a like trade inside of my book, and then I can, inside of my history here, and then I would be willing to enter this put position that I've set up, where if we're at 32, I would pick a strike price 30. I'd probably pay $1 for it in theta value, where the theta is, if I pick up the exit date here, let me show what that looks like. Go into the model, pick out where you think the bottom is going to occur. Let's say the bottom is December 9th or the bottom is December 1st. Either one of those is fine. We pick a Friday. I can pick December 7th. This is November, my bad. I can pick December 5th or December 12th. I'm going to pick December 5th for now because if December 1st, by December 5th, I'll be having had the opportunity to exit, right? And so I can pick a December 5th expiration option that starts on November, let's say 13th, and ends on December, what was that number? November 13th to December 5th. We would go in, we would write December 5th expiry, insurance, November 12th is fine instead of 13th. Strike price would be 30. Price per share, I expect that'd be about $1 in theta value. I don't know, but this would be an out of the money option. And then we may actually pay IV out the ass. So let's say I pay $2 for that because that's expensive as hell. Okay. And let's say we go all the way down to, the model said 23.5, I'll say 24 for now to assume that we're not making money. And so, one second, that didn't update things as it's supposed to. It did not update things as it's supposed to. No, it did. It did. Okay, yeah. It took off 50K and I just didn't see it. Perfect. And I would expect that I can exit at 24 a share. 24 a share is not the same as the floor. The floor here says 22, but the assumption is that if we diluted, then we raised the floor. So 2 above the floor on the last day. And so I think I could make 400K on a 200 if I made the call and was right about it. You'll notice how we have to be in like a really, really high period for puts to make any money for me. And so I don't normally do puts. So Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, Control Z. Keep it like this. But I would be willing to do that. Okay. And mind you, I pick up positions that when they work out, I double or triple my money. And then when they don't work out, it blows the entire thing up. Okay. Tiranelli, I think, says V is for Vendetta. I mean, maybe it is. I'm Arnold, says Becca Cat would never run for the hills. I'm having fun with the game, I guess. This is a game and I'm having fun with it. Yeah, sure. But I think there's a time and place in which I would sell off any bullish position in the company. Like, I'm self-advocating. I don't work for corporate. Not yet. Okay. Dennis says, I see humility and integrity here, and I love it. Thanks for sharing your work, brother. Man, let me know if I could do anything for you. I think that's been the entire intention behind streaming today. Sanghoon says, Diswag says, I will definitely be watching this weekend. Well, let me know how it is, I guess. My videos are alright, on occasion. Sanghoon says, how did you project out the options pricing in the event of a run? You'll have your limit order set ahead of time, you said. Yeah, sure. So, what I like to do is a few weeks in advance, this is what I physically did because this is the easiest way I found to find decent pricing on options for what you could get, is I'll look at the options chain. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. Smarter people than me figure out the individual value of theta, rho, gamma, and all of that. I don't like math. I may have a master's degree, but I don't like math. So I'll just open up the GME option chain, right? I'll find something that's about the same amount of time lead out. So let's say I'm talking about entering a put position on the 14th, expiring on the 28th, you know, or let's say on the 5th. This is 1, 2, 3 weeks of put, right? I open the options chain. It's a Friday, just like the other day, so I know it wouldn't be intra-week things, and I would just look at what's a 3-week output look like. That would be the 14th. So I do November, I do puts, and I would look at the 14th, and I would say, hey, the theta value that I'm paying, because this is mostly in theta value, is if I'm doing something that's at the money, probably around 80 cents. If I'm doing something that's $1 in the money, probably 75 cents. If I'm doing something that's $2 in the money, it'd probably be $1.30. And that's with the current IV value. There's some consideration for the IV going up, but in the specific instance where I was buying the calls, the assumption was IV was only going down, and so I didn't have to worry about that. So I set up a few weeks in advance of saying, hey, paying 60 cents for my calls would be fantastic, and then I paid that much. Turns out we bottomed at 40 cents, so I didn't even do a good job of selecting like a price there. So I don't think you would necessarily want to copy me. I think you'd want to do better than me, to be honest. Okay. Hey Beckett, is anything you said at all on the live stream financial advice? You guys are fucking hilarious. Okay, you guys just want me to repeat, this is not financial advice, 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 this is not financial advice. But at the same time, I really want to see someone really blow up their portfolio because that shit's hilarious. Just not me, please. Not this week. Maybe next week. It'd be funny next week. But like, don't hurt yourself. Seriously, take care of yourself, love yourself. Care enough to not blow yourself up entirely in one move. This is not blowing myself up entirely in one move. I don't want you to do the same to yourself. Terry Anella says, will you only wear the duck onesie? And Crazy Korean says, duck onesie for the win. Oh my fucking god. Autism speaks. Alright, I'm just gonna leave it at that as my response. Obsessively Gaming says, I didn't hear any financial advice. Well, shit, neither did I. Air Kazali says, late to the party, how do you know if it'll be a quick spike instead of a slow burn like in May? How do I know? One second. This is what the model looks like. This is when the FTDs come up due again. This is when we have the capability to rally. And then the assumption on top of that is that we just went through a red swap. I'd love to actually set this properly. It's the pink ones that I just set. And so if we start ETF fulfillment based off of just going through a red swap, then I put no on this, and I see this. And so it looking like a giant dildo on my chart is why it looks like a giant dildo on my chart. If I break down the individual components and look for what's causing a dildo to appear in my chart, I can go out on a limb and say it's that. It is probably that a lot of the a lot of the Echo model shows up as uncleared at the same time. And then on top of that, if I include this upwards event, and I select it as a 4, because I'm manually setting that because I have no, this is supposed to be like the standard deviation of change, and it's supposed to be such a fancy algorithm so that things are normalized, but it doesn't really work when you go when you have a 25x increase in the size of one of your ETFs. And so this whole thing's broken. I don't know what to do. It's just broken. But fuck it. Let's see what happens when I write 25. Yeah, that's a dildo on my chart. I don't need a dildo on my chart again. I'm good without the dildos in my chart. But yeah, I just ended up with a dildo on my chart. I didn't intend to predict a dildo. Okay. Where were we? Okay. Samuel Berg says, are you familiar with Pickle Financial? No clue. Let's see the guy. I'm not supposed to play videos of someone else, but I will gladly open up the channel and give it a shout out because fuck it, why not? This is the guy. This sounds really interesting. I will have to look at this, I mean, I like care, I like love, I like effort. What else could I want? I'll come back to him then. Fuck it, I'm writing it down right now in my notepad. I'll come back to that. Y'all better not be fucking scamming me with an AI account. I'll kill you dead. No. Okay. Rocket Option says, have you traded other options or just GME this way? This specific way where it's all or nothing, blow myself up for 10x value? Hell no, I haven't traded anything but GameStop like that. But I did, in response to an increase in interest rates, pick up a inverse Tesla position for a while back in I don't know, when they first raised rates to 5%, I said luxury cars are going to go down in value, and then I was right. But me being right is just as likely as me being wrong there. That's one of the positions I played. Back in my degree, I owned AMD because I was surfing the Steam hardware surveys and like predicting the amount of market share they were holding at any given quarter. But that's all. Yeah, let's keep it that simple. Okay. Joseph Christensen says, I actually prefer Snoring Ducky. I'm glad you prefer it. I'm gonna die. Okay. Zanny says refuses to elaborate. Yes, I'm refusing to elaborate. I do that often, actually. Frederick says, love your videos, man. Are you holding stock or just trading options? Man, I am trading options to the tits, and I have sold my stock to trade more options. Fear me. Chris Brown says, for those of you that can't or won't do options, is swing trading a viable alternative? Oh, hell yeah. I mean, I even have a little thing here that says, hey, this is a great time to buy, this is a great time to sell. And, like, you can set your own floors and ceilings if you're going to swing trade. Like, if you really want your trade to go through and you would think you would regret it if you saw 28 and you didn't sell, then set 28 as your floor. Like, fuck it, I'll keep 28 as the ceiling right now for the considerable future, because fuck it, I want you guys to be able to get out if you want to get out. What does 28 over 23 look like? Calculator. 28 over 23. That is 20%. Man, if you could post more than 20% gain in a year, you scare the shit out of me as a trader. That's fantastic. Like, swing trading is actually it's just low risk. I don't need to say anything else. There's a risk of being left out of an actual rally, but like, insofar as you're going to blow yourself up risk it, there's not much. As long as you understand to get the fuck out and stay out for a while until we go back down, then great, you know? All right. Diswag says, are there snarter strategies to take advantage of these cycles? And how do you know they won't just kick... Oh, wait, that's somebody else. My bad. Are there smarter strategies for taking advantage of these cycles? I don't know. You'd have to ask a smarter person. I'm well aware that Richard Newton's former approach to this, or current approach, I don't actually know anymore, his approach was... One second. His approach was to minimize risk in every single way, shape, or form he possibly could, and then he would have a large number of trades focused on getting money back with as minimal possibility of loss as possible. And that's how he would trade. And I'm not that guy. I am jack to the tits, time to either blow myself up or make 10x. Sorry for your loss, you know. How do you know they won't kick into the can another 33, Dan Hoskins says. I don't know. If they do, I lose money. If they don't, I gain money. Yay! Diswag says, they mean less risky by smart? Trade the stock instead of the options. Just like, if you don't want to dive deep, don't dive at all. You know. Zanuret says, what is that on your shirt? This is a nun in computer science from the 50s or 60s. It's a shirt that is available from Kill Chains. I like Kill Chains. I'm partial towards them because it is an individual guy and he's a cool dude. That's all I need to really say. It's not like super expensive. It's not designer. It's just cool. So I rep it. Fuck it. Okay. Ballers Edmonton says, thank you for answering my questions. Apologies if you already explained this, but without ETF refillment, why do you expect to hit 27? Or why does the model say so? So the model, I think I explained this when we first started, but I'll say it one more time just in case. The model in repressed mode is balancing max pain, assuming we're not going to break past max pain, we're not going to break past the call walls. It's balancing that with the cash minimum, such that like it's pulling us down to the cash minimum. And then it's also adding in the ETF model 1/6 and the Echo model like half. And so it is averaging together all of that and then pumping out an answer, which is the average of like 3 or 4 of my models that already exist. I mean, most of them were all Richard's models already, but I've been keeping them alive as far as I can tell, or as far as I can manage, actually. Okay. What's next? Hugh says, "Congrats on getting your followers flowers this week, dude. Cheers." Well, man, cheers. You know, um, I fell ass backwards into this and said it was an opportunity to be loving. If it turns out to be an opportunity to be loving, it turns out to be an opportunity to be loving. If I blow myself up, I blow myself up in front of, I don't know, this is 150 people right now. It was 60,000 for that tweet that Ultimator put out. Fuck it, we ball. Academic Idiot says, "Was sad to lose Newton Sheets. I thought someone else would pick up the mantle. Thank you so much. Do you have a copy or allow access in yours? I need to go through this slowly." Well, you can open it up on my Twitter. I have tweeted it before. BecketCat_2. YouTube does not let me post links in the description. In the last video I published, I tried to publish a link and I replaced the HTTPS to make it barely not register as a link. I don't know if that went through or not, but if you open up my little Twitter page, I'll do you one better. Go right here to the very bottom. I will pin this to my profile. Now it'll be the very first thing on my Twitter profile if you ever pull it up, a link to my sheet. Okay. Mr. Player says, "Hey man, do you think MOAS is possible? And if so, how do you think it'll play out?" I think there's a thing that people called slow ass, where the idea is that the stock slowly ramps up over a long period of time. I think that would probably be the most likely thing to happen insofar as a permanent uprising of the stock. But also, I think they have the hedge fund by their fucking balls and they're milking it for everything they got. And like that's what's happening when we get repeated offerings that fill perfectly every time the stock goes up any amount, because they're short to shit. They're not allowed to watch it go up. They're not allowed to watch it go down. And so every time it goes too far in one direction, we make money. GameStop benefits. Welcome to it. This is a company that sells games and collectibles where 90% of their income as a company has been from issuing stock. What do you want? That's a fantastic return, but it's also completely batshit crazy. So most people who own it are completely batshit crazy. Welcome to it. Okay, what's next? Jacob Leeburn says the cat comes back before November 14th. I says, I don't know. I think I'm going to keep it like that. If I knew, I would be scared shitless to talk right now. Wait, that makes it sound like I know. I don't fucking know. I don't know the man. My God. Anyways. Punget Gill says, when would the next swap be? Oh, yeah, let's open that up. So what I've done lately on my trading view is I have made a little line from my yellow mark to the next yellow mark, and then I've gone and I placed it on my current yellow mark, and look at that. I'm so good with art. This turns to be the 15th of January 2026, and so we go into our model, we go into the January 15th of 2026, and we make sure it says yes, and hell, I'll color it yellow. Let's go back and say we start repressing 15 days earlier, and I'll color all of this yellow, and then I'll make the text black so it's readable, and there we go, yellow swap on the model. All of this saying yes is because we're going to stay repressed in response to dilution. If dilution events occur, we could not. I don't know. I have no fucking clue. There's a possibility that this goes yes or no. The fact of the matter is I don't know, so I'm just going to keep it as a yes. I'm going to assume we're repressed until we're not. Okay. Where were we? Okay. Mr. Skint says, yes, less risky to trade shares. They have no theta on them. I would make sure I would always buy back in near the cash floor if I was to do that, which I do. And yeah, like I said, I posted 140% returns in like 8 months trading shares and shares alone. It's easy. In my personal opinion, it's easy. Let me drink some water. Tunas says, I've been Zen for a long time. Brother, I was born Zen. I love myself too much to trade with options. Jasper says, where's the ducky? Jasper, I hate you. Anthrax says, speaking of self-advocacy, a lot of people in this community attach a need to be right and attach their decisions to GameStop instead of making the smart play. I don't know what the smart play is. You'll need to tell me. Bobble says, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Robert says Richard Newton tweeted that he's using covered calls and cash secured put strategy. Are you doing the same? No, I'm not Richard. I'm just a guy. Hargwargly Wargans says, how did you get rich initially? I worked for NVIDIA for 3-4 years. Yeah. It's basically a get rich. No, I'm not allowed to talk about that stock in my... Actually, I am allowed to talk about that stock. I don't fucking work there anymore. Bro. The stock went up in a fucking vertical line. I made money. Jack Calvin Ross says, the market cap at $10 billion and the cash plus BTC around $10 billion. The EV of GameStop is near $0. Raising cash until the market gives Ryan an investment op is a genius move. These moves are gifts until then. I don't know what a gift is then. I don't really have strong opinions on that. I do think GameStop's being run pretty well. Anthrax says it's a cultural problem in my opinion. It's more important to keep in mind that like holding because you need to win and be right isn't the play. I don't need to win. Actually, I want to win. I want to win really badly. It's really fun. Okay. Jim Jukes says linked Ducky onesie. Bro, I have no fucking clue where the Ducky onesie came from. It was a gift from my friend. I'll have to ask where it is and like link it to someone. Oh my god. If I link that show on Twitter, I'm gonna be a jackass. Okay. Y'all make me into a jackass. Okay, let's keep going. Baller says, thanks again. Would you say the run from September 25th to 29th and September the run from 1st of September to 25th to 29th, run from this is not settlement. You know why? Because we're still in repressed mode. We got yeses all the way down. There's no ETF fulfillment here, in my personal opinion. This is just what it looks like when the Echo model's acting up, like acting, you know. Okay. When's the next swap? I love these. I think I answered that one already, Plenty Gill, but I will point it out right now. Where is my trading view? Right here. January 15th. Yeah. Okay. That's just random letters, Anthrax. Okay. Erica Zalimus says, why sell puts so close to the money when you're confident the stock will go down to 24? Thanks for doing this and answering my questions. The strike price for the puts would be 30. If I'm selling strike 30 puts and they're out of the money, something's really silly right at that moment. And so I'm willing to do that just to the assumption that GameStop's going to dilute and also to the assumption that the Echo model falls off. Like the Echo model falls off really hard right here, right here, right here, right here. It really does. It's actually just pulsing. It's thumping. Anyways, it's a thing. I don't actually think that out of the money puts when the stock goes up to 32 a share is a completely unreasonable play at that point. Anthrax says, I can't post the link, just Google forever lazy footed adult onesies, one-piece pajama jumpsuits for men unisex with detachable feet. I hate that somebody tracked that down. That's worrying. Googling it. We're doing that. Yep, that's it. There you go. There you go. Anyone want a onesie? Copy that link. Keep it for safekeeping when I inevitably get myself in trouble and need something stupid to post on Twitter. What does the model say if it goes above 32 and it like me starts exercising warrants? There's no. This model doesn't include anything that retail does. It didn't include anything I do, actually. I was deeply worried when the stock started moving in response to me doing stupid shit. But my response to that was like, hey, it's not actually moving that much in the grand scheme of things. It'll be fine. Nothing you do and nothing anybody else does is going to change the model. It's not based off of retail. I don't think it's based off... If Roaring Kitty moved, I don't think it moved the model. It just made the model inaccurate. Just like how in 2024, when we squeeze, there's absolutely no inclusion in the model of the squeeze. There's just none. Now, over here on the secondary spike, yeah, that's predicted, but, like, you get it. I don't want to show that part. That doesn't actually have any meaning. Okay. Damn. Okay. Afro Keys says, thank you. You are appreciated, man. You're appreciated. Crazy Korean says, how long did it take you to read all of Richard Newton's information and understand it to a point where you could start to apply it? It took me, I don't know, I was already doing it when he left, and so it just took me a bit to figure out how to run the failures to deliver and how to run the max pain portion. I don't even use the max pain portion, though, because I'm not really enrolled into the idea of max pain being a direct effect. I'm more so enrolled into the idea that max pain is an effect of the call walls, and that us not being able to overcome the call walls is the downwards push there. Dart Dog says, we want phone numbers. Bro, thanks for the tinfoil coverage. This model isn't built around phone numbers. I don't think it would ever tell you if you're going to hit phone numbers ahead of time. This model wouldn't. This model would have absolutely no capability to tell you if you're going to really short squeeze. It actually has barely any capability at all to tell whether or not you're going to enter ETF refillment periods. And so it's just not its purpose. Chris says, how do you map the swaps in TV? All I do is, if you have nothing and you want to make it yourself, you can start by pulling up the chart for GameStop, pull up the Swapinator, and when a bottom aligns with a Swapinator saying that you're separating from the baskets, then you start placing stars. And you should be able to go pink, yellow, red, pink, yellow, red, pink, yellow, red, all the way down for the last like 3-4 fucking years, and it should line up. I haven't even gone as far back as Richard did, but it went pretty fucking far back. And I just play stars. Most of TradingView is pretty lines and colors. It's supposed to be pretty lines and colors. It's a notepad for, drawing on stock charts. That's all it is. Can I share my chart in TradingView? Yeah, I can. I'll post it on Twitter tonight. Budge Cudlow says, do you think the new ETF creation marks swap dates or just created for FTD throttle? I don't know. I don't think I'm supposed to know. Yeah, I'm going to keep it that simple. I don't know. What's the play you like to employ between cycles? Selling calls or puts? A lot of people like covered calls. I just don't play. There's not much to make here. I'll wait for an outlier event, then I'll take a position sometimes, but I don't play the game much when we're not into the point in which I can make money. I mean, Warren Kitty doesn't either, and I think I have a similar play style to him. I'm usually pretty hyper passive until I think something's about to blow up. Selling covered calls is smart though. Yeah. Okay. Anyways, okay. Will you sell put options for share discounts? No, I won't, because that sounds like it takes intelligence, and I'm not that smart. Paulino says, do you have a public TradingView graphic? Can you share it? I love your work. I can post this online after. I think I committed to that. I'll do that permanently. Ajwad Zir YouTube says, found your stuff today. Just binged the first 4 episodes. Absolutely a wealth of knowledge. Well, I hope it works for you. I hope it works for me a bit more though. Tang Fu says, who do you think will win in the super long term? The hedge funds who want this business to go bankrupt, or GameStop's leadership that will turn the business around? I don't know. I like the company. I like the stock. I'll keep it that simple. Yeah. Rocket Option says, how do you know that a swap is being rolled for the same duration of time when it's being rolled? You don't. What you do get, however, is you do get a back-looking. You do get altimeters. I would prefer to actually have my TradingView open. You do get altimeters indications that we are starting to suppress, and they don't like to enter suppression all at once. It's usually a slow trail up, and so we'll ramp into a swap for quite a while. Actually, they'll just start suppression and then they'll ramp it up over a long period of time, and then we'll usually we'll cap around about the same areas each time until whatever the fuck this was. I still don't understand what the fuck this was. I think on some level, the warrant issuance really fucked them up, and I don't know why, and I don't know how, and I'm not supposed to know why or how necessarily. Okay. Dart Dog says, please do not pull a Richard Newton and delete your vids. Stay legendary. Let me be completely transparent. Um, if I start deleting my vids in the backlog, it'll be because that's my right to do so, and it reduces the amount of like exposure I have to being prosecuted at a later date. I'm pretty sure that's why he would delete his videos in the backlog. Um, Take copies. It's not hard. Become a data hoarder, just like anyone else, like a reasonable person. Um, Johnny Letcher says, Becca Cat, I know you use Max Payne for your model. Now with GME and GME1, I'm trying to figure out which one is the real Max Payne. It's confusing. Is it confusing to anyone else? Yeah, sure. Let me be completely transparent. GME1 has no volume. GME has volume. Options tend to trade off of volume. I don't use GME1 too much. Zen Focus says, Roaring Ducky is actually dope. It's like Silly Kitty. We know you're a boss in your own way, like deep fucking value. Love the logic-based confidence and the silliness. Continue to be you. Man, I'm always me. I live with me. I can't get enough of me. I'm gonna get clipped saying that. Let me stop. Dookie Sen says, Masta says, just check Discord private off string real quick. Why not just posted that shit in chat? God. Okay. I see. Nasta, I don't mind. What other GME plays have you made in the past, says Ghoulish Goon? I traded stock for quite a while here. I DRS'd for a long time. I DRS'd at like $17.50 a share and got rid of it literally at this run up right here. I showed the exact price inside of the chart, but I traded about $250,000 of shares back and forth. I'd buy on swap dates. I'd sell between the swap dates. So it'd be buy, sell, buy, sell, buy, sell. And then like when a swap date would happen, I would buy. When I thought the price was too high, I would sell. And we would keep doing that for a while. And that's the real game that I played for a good 8 to 9 months there. Like I said, I posted 140% returns on that 250K that I had doing that. It was nice. Okay. Then I exited my DRS position and started playing larger options on it because I was posting too much return. John Michael says, can I add you on Discord for ECE related questions? Yeah, man, I still mentor in electrical engineering all the time. If I can support you in that, just do it. Becky Cat is my Discord. Let me know if I can do anything to support you. We'll be nice to people. Alright, what's next? Punnett Gill says, could you make a video explaining the swaps, the FTDs, and the strategy to maximize swing trading? Let me just say it right now. It's not that complicated. It really, really is not that complicated. I am tracking the ETF creation and redemption. The ETF creation and redemption tells me what volatility is doing. There's volatility here, 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 here, etc., etc. I love picking up shares near the cash floor. I love selling shares into high volatility events that send us upward. What else is there? I track the volatility. I watch the model for the final model where I think the share price is going to end up. I build the final model as I go for where I think the share price is going to end up. I have my own assumptions about what's going to happen and what happens in the past and what happens next. I follow those assumptions. I take notes on what my trades are. I take notes on what my assumptions were going in and what I learned exiting them. Please take notes, because if you're not learning, you're just losing money for nothing. Yeah, it's not that hard. It just is. If you want to do it, do it. Just don't fucking blow yourself up. Wrench Moon, it would be nice to write a Python code to auto-update the spreadsheet rather than manual. I'm getting to the point where it's actually in my service to do so. I'll probably throw something together next week, something like that, to do it for me, because fact of the matter is, while I do value the time that I spend legitimately saying, okay, this is what's happening here, 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 and here, and then putting it all together and saying, okay, this is what we do next, it gets old, but I'd rather this entire process not get old, so I manage that emotion. CC says, win up. Aloud says, that shirt is awesome. I also think the shirt is awesome. I actually really do respect people who go into computer science and fact of the matter is, this is the concept here is overcoming. How can I say this? Overcoming existing stigma for who you are and what you do and how you see yourself and how others see you. And so I fuck with it. So with CC saying swap incometh and saying win up. Win up. Win up. November 5th, probably. Maybe, if I'm not wrong. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Cookie says, did you see Richard Newton's tweet today? I don't understand the dates he called out, especially the failed ones. 7 days late means 7 trading days or 7 calendar. Let me open it up. Oh my gosh, he's so cool. He's so cool. He's so cool. Okay, let me read. Sorry, I fanboy. Explanation. The Bojack is sad and happy. Sad because models fail, but happy because other models work. Fine. Failures. Red swap didn't occur on 9/22. Possible confirming theory D. 2 times cash plus BTC per undiluted share was briefly broken. See, I think he was sad that he broke under, and then the next day he was like, it was brief. I don't know if that's true or not. That's okay. Successes. Babe Ruth worked by capturing the run. Swapinator, Bottom Finder, and other models picked up on the possibility of a previously unforeseen 10/22 swap. He's right. All of those picked it up. I picked it up by saying we're just going to leave it at that. Swapinator picked it up. I've been trading off of it being picked up. I've been intending it to be picked up for a month now. Some Richard Newton post 2 hours ago, some models are useful. Meme translator. Babe Ruth was a baseball player known for calling his shot. Yeah, this is a called shot. I love this. An attempt to call out the 12-day settlement indicated by an increased volume and price improvement. 1 day in PMO positive cross is a technical confirmation. November 11th, success. December 27th, failure. It occurred 7 days later than his called shot. April 9th, failure. 2 days later than his called shot. May 20th, success. September 25th, failure. 6 days later than his called shot. October 31st, 2025. To be decided. I have adjusted this date recently based on failure to deliver data. Disclaimer, it is hard to escape this puzzle. I hold a position of shares and warrants, but 0 long calls. I used a covered call and cash secure put strategy. I am only observing and sharing observations on this small corner of the internet. Feel free to press the mute button if you aren't interested or this isn't clear to you. For those interested, I hope my observations are helpful. All models are wrong. Some are useful. This is most certainly not financial advice. Please make good decisions and have an incredible weekend. You are an inspiration. Leave it at that. Okay. Do I have copies of Newton's videos? No. Oh, I need to scroll up to actually see things again. Okay. So I think the 7 days late is in response to him miscalling the day by 7 days. He likes to call the exact day that it starts. He's not predicting a general upwards movement. He's calling out this is the exact day that we gain. Okay. Okay. Arkinrazi says, keep an eye out for the new GME ETF. Not sure when it will go live. Yeah, I'm not sure when it'll go live either. Fucking tweet at me if it goes live at me, this, or fucking message me on Discord. I don't care. Message me anywhere. I'm pretty accessible. If you put in an amount of effort, you can dox anyone on the internet. You can dox me. I don't care. Just like, be reasonable, be kind to those around you, and if you aren't, it really just makes your life worse. That's all. Okay. Will this live chat be posted later because the World Series is on soon? Lynn W. How can I say this? I will upload this video. It will be recorded as a video here. I'll make sure that happens, and I have to make sure the other video gets added as a video to my fucking channel so it doesn't get deleted as well. JDS says, I like the stop. That's a coincidence. I like it too. Zen Focus says agree on call walls, and it's more logical to go off of max. It's more logical to go off of than max pain, as it is a more informed and detailed data point rather than and a more accurate representation of impact. Dyslexia is hard with this many people talking. CC says, I was told there would be ducky onesies. Well, tell you what, as I said, when I exit this position, I'll ducky onesie with you guys. Okay? Yeah, let's go with that. I like it as a celebration. You guys are worthy of celebration as well, but that's unrelated. Do I have copies of Newton's video? Nope. Kiwi says, clip it! I hope you do clip it. You guys are silly. Do I follow Outlier Trading? Newton used to go on his channel. Outlier Trading is a very, very informative man. He is smarter than I am about most options trading, and he is a fantastic teacher for all of this. Please go to his channel and please follow him. Like, he is one of the only guys not making clickbait and not lying on the internet about options, and that says a lot. I'm trying not to clickbait. Like, I am literally going to either blow myself up or double my money, and there's nothing in between. So, like, still, I have a ton of respect for people who just put out informative content. I used to put out, like, mentorship docs for chip design and such things, but as far as it's concerned, I have the deepest of respect for anybody who's willing to share and try to benefit those around them that they don't even know. Western TWTV says, will AMC's earnings on November 5th affect the basket swap? It seems like quite a coincidence. Man, I don't fucking know about AMC. This is a very, very deep special interest. Too deep for me to consider other stocks, ones that are in a consistent downward trajectory in which the C-suite likes to cut short any rally instead of letting the rally finish and then cutting it down. I would never buy calls like this on AMC. I would never, because I would think as soon as we hit like 25, they would start issuing stock, and then I would never make a dime. So why the fuck would I even try to trade on AMC? That's just stupid. Okay. AG Waziri says, for the ETF model with 2x cash per share, or with the swap model and the triple weighted max pain. What the heck is that supposed to say? Oh, he's referencing something I said 30 minutes ago, and I'm too stupid to remember what I ate this morning. Okay. I'm going to have, like, this is a reasonable thing. Okay, yes. So, GameStop pulls down to the cash per share times 2 value during the swap cycle, typically, at least once. But on swap days, I like to buy the stock. For the ETF model, I put a minimum of the cash per share times 2, so that I can try to use it generally as, like, any sort of thing grounded in reality at all, of, like, it'll only go down this far possibly. But, like, there's not much to it. It's not that, I'm not that smart, this isn't that smart, don't think that this is that smart. Dart Dog says, will you consider providing some GameStop coverage through the new year regardless of what happens with this trade? It's much appreciated, and it's laughing and winning. Let's fucking go. I mean, I'm committed to updating the chart for a good year. I think I wrote that down somewhere. Yeah. Until 8/15/2026, I was committed to updating the chart for myself. And that's just for myself. Even if I don't record a single fucking thing, this will probably still exist because it's just a labor of love at this point. Okay. Irazaka says, I like the idea that GameStop has a few hedge funds by the balls and is milking them into those swaps. I wonder how many cycles will go through before they're all closed. I have no fucking clue, but it is nice. It's a nice thought. Milking balls. Let's stop thinking about that now. Jimmy says, if you go away, can you teach us how to maintain the model? I've already walked through that today. Y'all can have it. You can take copies. If you want to start maintaining your own copy, maintain your own copy. You'll find that after a certain point, you're just making shit up just like I am. And, like, yes, I'm making shit up. How long do you see the cycles continuing for? Until they start to close out. We actually have a fantastic event of a swap being closed out that happened. 1 second. That happened right here. in March 31st, 2025, and a new one entering in May 6th, 2025. And so with that, I have a fantastic like grasp on what it looks like when a swap's closed out now, you know, and what it looks like when a new one is entered. And so I get to use that, and I get to like figure out what's true and false about that, and apply it to future. Dolphinian says, "Where are you getting creation and redemption data?" I take the shares outstanding of ETFs from Market Chameleon every day. They have an ETF profile. So if I Google, there you go. No, that's a quote. That's a quote. It took me hours to find this, by the way. That's the quote. I guess that is hard to find. It is Market Chameleon Overview ETF Profile. So it's under ETF Info and ETF Profile. Yes. ETF Info, ETF Profile. But yeah, most people don't actually see this. Cool. What is next? Yes. Do you think Japanese interest rates play into GME? They play into the basket, you know? There's a basket of swaps, and that is incorporated. It's incorporated into the Swapinator, which I use to reference this stuff. Game Freaker says, if GameStop blows up, I'm becoming a full-time card counter. Let's go to Vegas, Beckett. Game Freaker, I'm not stepping into that fucking casino with you. You can lose money yourself. I'm not joining. Punet Gill says, so after November 15th is your guess of when we'll be suppressed until January 15th, which is the yellow swap. Yeah, that's a guess. I guess at things. I guess you could guess, I guess. Shirkill says, I find myself not selling when I'm up a lot because I think it will go higher. Any tips? Yeah, decide exactly when you will sell ahead of time. Like, here's when I'm gonna sell. Here's every sell order I'm gonna have each day. This one I lose money on. This one I take whatever the fuck I can get before they start diluting. This is it. This is what I do. And if I'm inefficient, I accept that this is all going to be inefficient, and that's okay. Eventually this will like happen, you know, and that's okay. Let's see. John Michael says, we don't deserve Richard Newton, man. I know. He's a kind soul in every way, and it's wonderful to see. Harley Wargan says, I dig your attitude, sir. Thank you. Well, thank you, man. Lynn says, thank you. I appreciate it. Well, I appreciate you. AMC Stoic says, if you're mad at Newton, you are a swoop 20 IQ. Well, what a coincidence. I can draw my IQ on my hands. No, I'm not mad at him. SGN6515 says, sorry I missed the live. I'm just popping in during the work. I'll listen later. Thanks, Beckett. So glad to find you. Excited to hear from RN2. Would you be willing to show me how to do CCC and SP, which is cash covered calls and cash secured puts? No, I'm not willing to show you because that's not a trading style that I do at all, ever. Someone else can show you. I think if anybody would be trustworthy on this platform, to like legitimately explain cash secured puts and cash secured or stock backed calls. I don't remember words right now. It's outlier trading. Outlier trading has a massive wealth of backlog. You would probably be able to find something about it there. Mikey says, you going to short on the 16th? I don't know what I'm going to do, but I could like evaluate what it's like to short and then figure out what would make me decide to short. And then if I find that my decision criteria is met, then I might short. So let's say 11/16/2025. 15's fine. I don't know how to write anyways. Short, expiry date, NA, strike price, NA, quantity. I don't know. Let's say I do 100K of shorting, right? Let's say I short 100K of stock. I'm really less open to shorting because shorting has infinite loss associated with it and not that much gain. And then I will say share price is, let's say it's at 30, because I wouldn't really be willing to enter a short position against GameStop for less than 30 a share. Let's say the share price during the trade would have to be 30 as well, because shorting is just selling a share that you don't own. The quantity would equal to 100K divided by 30. And then let's change this to 101 so that it gets an even number. There we go. That's easy. There we go. 3,400 is easy. Then let's say that I get 24 a share out of it when I exit, and then I would see the proceed is it'd be $6. It'd be 30 minus 24. Proceed is $6. Proceed is 3,400 times $6. $6 plus 30. I think that's it. I don't know math right now. It's hard to focus. It's a bit late at night. But I would make 20K off of shorting it. That's not really worth it for me. For the amount of risk that takes on, it's not necessarily worth it. And the exit date. Yeah, let's say the exit date's the same. This is what a short contract would look like. This is not a contract. This is what shorting would look like for me, though. Whether it's worth it for like a 20% return, I'd have to decide that day. I don't know if that'd be worth it necessarily. I do things that like either completely blow up the account if I'm wrong, or it's like I very much enjoy having a very limited amount of loss possible, and shorts have an infinite loss, and I'm really, really not game for that. Not for GameStop. GameStop is one of those things. So I don't think I'd do this in a million years, even though it's 20% return. Okay. John Michael says, the only people mad at Richard Newton are the people willingly ignore the predictable price action happening before their eyes and thinking buying and holding is the only play. I wish they saw the light. I see a light, but I need to stop staring at flashlights. But no, but on a real level, I mean, everybody has a point of view, and I like to respect every point of view, and so I don't like to insult people for having a different point of view. Let me do this as well. I would love to have this filled in. This, yeah, there you go, 20K. I don't like to. I very much don't like to insult people for having a different point of view, and then I will listen to their argument and then decide for myself, because feedback is not necessarily positive or negative. It just is, and then I decide how I want to feel next. AMC Stoic says, buy and hold was the greatest PSYOP success the baddies ever pulled. I guess. I mean, buying and holding is a fantastic strategy for me. Like I said, I posted, insofar as market returns, GameStop has done phenomenally for me. I paid $17 a share and got $28.50 a share for it over the course of 2 years. Well, that is a fantastic outsized return. I don't even think it was a bad move. But hey, that's fine. Guido Suave says, in his videos, Newton did mention that although the stars were fairly consistent, the bottoms could be off by several days. And yeah, I've been off by several days several times. AJ Waziri YT says, sorry, my comment got split and sent early. Thanks for the explanation. Well, you deserve an explanation. Robert Gamma says, do you know if there's a site where you can watch old YouTube videos? I thought Newton would leave his videos up like Roaring Kitty did. I have no clue, and I couldn't find any, and that's okay. I know there were some videos with, let me do this. Okay, there were some videos with Outlier Trading that were a collaboration between Richard and him, and I would watch those if you're interested in seeing what his points of view were and why they were what they were, but that's it. Okay. Dart Dog says, hunted, might as well go to the next Halloween for warrants expiration. Just saying. I don't know. I don't like to know what other people's trading strategies are and what's best for them. CC says, model says we will go between 34 and 36 in your chart. It seems like it is the same top we hit around 35 last time. I will say that is if we exit suppression. Big if. Big if. You know? So if I say yes, then we barely crack 28. Yeah. And like I could keep it this slow just to make it look bad for you guys, but we barely cracked 28. And so I'd probably only get shit through at 27. And so I would only get like 27 for this. I mean, like buying strike 25 calls for 60 cents a pop and selling them at 27. Great return on investment. Nothing to balk at all. But it's not what it looks like. You know, it's not, I'm not guaranteed to have this return, and I don't actually expect there's a strong chance I'll have this return. I just know what upwards pressure looks like. No, it's not that I know what upwards pressure looks like. It's that the past 3 times we've had a red swap, we've had a rally afterwards. The red swap didn't happen there. It happened there, we rally here. Happens here, we rally here. Happens here, we might rally here. Might. I don't know. Welcome to it. Okay. How do you know that the 2025 swap closed? What do you see in the chart that tells you that? Yeah, sure. Let's look at the trading view. This is what the red swap looks like. I do not see a high on the swapinator. I see a low on the swapinator. I do not see downwards force. I see upwards force. No red swap. No swappy swap. Nothing. It didn't happen. Whatever I thought was going to happen didn't happen. That's really cool that it didn't happen, but it didn't happen. So the follow-up to me was, hey, the swapinator did peak here, slap a purple swap here, because it's a different one, in my opinion, at that point, and then apply the gap that occurred to the red, assuming that they entered the same contract they would normally enter, and you put here, and that's the swap. But there was nothing here. There was nothing here. And that's okay that there was nothing here. But re-examining your assumptions and finding new hypotheses is why we do this. It's fun. Zen Focus says you probably already know this, but don't let shills or noise intimidate you or get you. You're allowed to share your data, your disclosures, or your thoughts. It's your right. We got your back. We would love you and support you too. Man, I have the first commitment for being here to be loving to myself and to be loving to others. And so, like, I will show up and I will be vulnerable in response to people attempting to be mean, and that is intentional. And it is not because I am weak. It is because I have decided to be loving. That is the commitment, you know? Okay. Whoa. Richard Newton updated his Babe Ruth model to start next Friday. Could line up perfectly. So let's do that. Let's affect that. Richard Newton changed his opinion. That's a rare thing. I didn't think I would get any new opinions out of him. Actually, me going viral might have been the reason why I got new opinions out of this man, which I love. He updated. He thinks the 11th, the 10th or the 11th. I like mine on the 5th. I'm keeping mine on the 5th. Y'all can move yours to the 10th or the 11th. I'm keeping mine on the 5th. I like the 5th. I actually really, really like the 5th. So I'm going to disagree. Yeah. Okay. Oh, you're saying he moved his to line up with my 5th to 11th. My bad. I was miscomprehending. Jimmy says, how do you predict the big squeezes? Do all swaps redemptions have a chance to be MOAS? Can it happen during outside of swap rolling? The answer to your first question of how do I predict big squeezes, I don't. The follow-up question of do all swap redemptions have a chance of MOAS is I don't know. And can it happen outside of swap rolling is I have no fucking clue. This model doesn't exist to encapsulate that. This model exists to encapsulate the growing quantity of failures to deliver and how failures to deliver create, please look at me, create the space for, failures to deliver create the space for us to need to refill, you know? That's all this does. It's not that complicated. Hi. What do you do for fun outside of trading? I tend to drink a lot after market closes, but I'm looking for something else. I play competitive video games and I run a startup. I don't actually trade all day. I did videos once a week before y'all fuckers showed up. This is supposed to be a hobby. It's still fun though, by the way. It's fun. This shit is a blast. Cash secured puts equals discount shares is what Hargley Morgan says, and also covered calls. My response, I don't know. That's not my trading style. Dart Dog says liked and subscribe. Well, I guess that's cool. But like, once again, I'm doing this for me. Y'all can come or go. I don't mind. A.G. Juarez says the Federal Reserve rate versus the S&P stuff was very interesting. Also, do you still have Bitcoin excluded from the cash per share calculation? I no longer have it excluded. It's still in there now. I'm going to call this a close soon because I've now done this for an hour and a half and my voice is going to hit its end. So, A.G. Juarez says the Federal Reserve rate and S&P stuff was very interesting. Do you still... Oh, he just said that. I'm stupid. Dolphin says, what broker do you trust with your stack? Do you diversify brokers? No, I don't bother diversifying brokers. I just use Fidelity. Yeah, your broker can fuck you. If you're afraid of your broker fucking you, direct register. But you're not going to be able to trade options in direct register. and I'm not gonna bother trading options across 5, 6 brokers. That's just not worth it. Tim says, "Good luck on your displaying genuine compassion for others and their opinions and views." Mwah. You matter. You're important, Tim. I hope you have the chance to be loved today. I hope somebody tells you they love you today. And if they don't, I love you. And love for this, like I say this as much as I can, but for me, love is valuing someone's long-term well-being over your own personal benefits. And so I want you to be the best person you can be. And so that's love to me. And so I love you. Z-Bone says, "Howdy, howdy." Howdy. John Michael says he set his to October 31st. What is October 31st? Oh, I see. He starts his earlier. I could actually be thoroughly enrolled into that idea because I think this is going to be done by the 14th. I am enrolled into that. Let's move it. Cut. 31st. That didn't work. Cut. Oh, it's, I gotta figure out how to split these cells. Tell you what. Cut it. Paste over here or something, I don't know. I want to cut this, and I want to place it expiring on the 14th. That's it, right? That's good enough. I'm going to keep it here even if his doesn't, and we're going to color this black again. Did I mess anything up in this area with that? Not necessarily, no. I'm going to keep it exactly here. I'm also going to color this black as well. I like this. This is good. This is smart. I like this. Last day of purple swap clearing in the ETF model is this day, give or take. So I'm going to keep that. If we dip below cash per share, okay, this is a note that we dip below. That's on the 22nd, right? No, this is the 21st. Jeez. The fuck just happened? Dip. There we go. That's not showing the quote. Perfect. Okay. Cool. Robert says, "You're the man. Can't express how much I appreciate your efforts. Please ignore the trolls or bots trying to ruin things. I'm assuming they got to RN and that's why you walked." Man, it takes a lot of bad faith and negative effort to scare me off. I'm a bit of a degenerate who has a high risk tolerance. Richard is a bit of a very low risk tolerance individual. So if somebody firebombs my house, I live above a police officer. Good luck. Oh, no, but that's how it works. You just gotta decide what level of risk you're willing to take in this world and stand behind it. And I'm willing to have, 100 or 1,000 people know my name if they track me down and are willing to put in that effort. But I'm gonna make you put in the effort to figure out my name. Type shit. All right. Elout says, "Thanks again, dude. Nice to have you around." Man, it's nice to have you guys around. Actually, it is an expression of care that y'all hear. And if you care about it as much as I do, you're welcome to ask questions and be supported. That's the best I can do, though. Who's your picks for GME Mount Rushmore? Says Eclipto. I mean, our CEO, our venture capitalist, our fucking kitty, and then I like Ultimator a lot, and I like Richard Newton a lot, and honestly, I'll leave it at that. Those two guys are really, really chill. And so is El Piano. I love that guy. He's so kind. And let me show, because I don't actually know if everybody knows that he has a channel, but this guy is one of my favorites. He is fantastic. I would encourage everybody actually subscribe to him and watch his stuff. He's been my Richard Newton since Richard Newton left. I'll leave it at that. Okay. Yes. Okay. Have a lovely day for you too, AG Warze. What games do I play? I used to go pretty degenerate on League of Legends, so I'll just leave it at that. Biolo Chris asks, wait, how do y'all know where Richard Newton's Babe Ruth is? Well, I have this chart that's been remaining, and he actually tweeted a few hours ago, which was really, really, really impressive. I thought he stepped away from the limelight for a lot of this. Tim says, thanks, dude. Blessings back to you. I'm holding a good amount of shares and I'm practicing patience. I personally believe things tend to happen off predicted dates. So October 29th to November 5th is an upside. Yeah, I mean, if it is an upside, it is an upside. TFT Tactics GG says, what other stocks piqued your interest? I'm going to be really, really transparent. I expect the entire market's going to crash and blow up eventually. I don't know when. With the current yield curve that we have, I want the 2-year, 10-year yield curve from the federal, what is this, Federal Reserve, and I want to hit max. Where the heck is my shit? Oh my gosh, max, okay. This is not a chart that I want to invest into. I'm serious. I don't want to put money into the S&P 500 into this. And so I looked for things and I found things which are completely other and completely external to all of the standard like gains and losses of the market. And a company that is trading based off of its base assets and its cash on hand is fantastic to me as far as I'm concerned. And so I'm swing trading it because when the market crashes, I only have so far down it can go. And I understand that I'm also at the same time jacked to the tits on leverage, but I got jacked to the tits on leverage because I started to be right too often for my own comfort. Not because I had that as like my base set of like criteria. If being jacked to the tits on leverage doesn't work out for me, I'll go back to trading shares at like 250k base, and that's fine. Who Loves Avocado says, how do you live with such a massive penis? Really, really big pants, man. Really big pants. AG War says, any advice for someone waiting to try and create their own model? What data should be weighted heaviest in your opinion? There's a lot that goes into this, right? So Richard Newton, when he was making this, as far as I could tell, started with the ETFs, and he started tracking the expansion and contraction of ETFs. And then he started tracking FTDs, and he would add the T plus 30 timeline to the FTDs. But the FTDs only really became a powerful force for him once he started controlling T plus 33, T plus 66, T plus 99. And he worked on it a lot to condense it into the Echo model here. But the Echo model is him saying, we trade off of FTDs and we trade off of ETF expansion and contraction. Put those together, and this is the model. Put that together with max pain for him, and that's the model he had. That and the cash floor. And so he had only 3 or 4 theories of what was controlling the price. And the entire model is only 3 or 4 theories of what's controlling the price, placed over the course of around a year or so here, And so there's not that much going into it. It's just you have to start with a theory and then you have to prove it to yourself and then follow up with effort. And it is a lot of effort. The best thing you could possibly do is start putting in an hour and effort every fucking day. And it would take forever. And it did take forever. And I was too upset to see that go away. I have an Elon Musk laugh, says Celestial Tri. I'm glad that I inspire something in you. Robert Gamma says, if shit goes bad here, where else can we follow you? My Discord is Becky Cat. My X is Becky Cat 2. My original X account got I don't know, I don't have access to it. Because I have a 2 at the end now. This YouTube is Becky Cat 2, I believe, because I don't think I have Becky Cat for YouTube anymore. I'm the type of guy who loses access to my own accounts, so that could happen eventually, and if it happens, I'll let people know through another account. I'm a bit of a jackass. Okay. Cheese Enchilada says, so glad you found your channel, great vibes, rooting for your trade to be successful. Man, I'm rooting for you to be successful. And John Michael says, Low Piano also talks about history and is a very great listen. I love his take on philosophy, and I'll just leave it at that. Masta says, I couldn't spell Renaissance. You're right. I can't spell my own name. Johnny Lecter says, damn, you are a straight shooter. That is a compliment. I appreciate your time. Go rest your voice. I have a feeling you'll be live again soon enough. Enjoy your night. Man, take care. Stay safe, everyone. I'm going to call it a night. Y'all have a good night. Y'all take care. Let me know if I can do anything to support you. And that's it then. See ya.